Hello, this is Greg Allison, Ring Rigs, coming to you on the 6th of May, 2021. Time on deck is 1800 hours Central Daylight Time. Now, what may not have occurred to you is that Israel and Iran actually are at war directly. It's just not a full-fledged war at the moment. They have gone beyond Cold War. They have gone beyond proxy war, which is still very much engaged, but they're actually hitting each other tit for tat, and mostly covertly, but sometimes directly and out in the open. It's a war of skirmishes, a war of like one action against another, retaliations. Not yet a full-blown war, but yet the recipes are coming together where that may happen, and there may be several nations in play in this, and it may or may not directly involve the United States, at least initially, but it could escalate to that because we are also involved over there in proxy wars, pretty much the same way Israel is. And so, and it gets to be a little bit more than proxy also. You got to recall, some people may say, well, Greg, if Israel were to strike Iran, what does that have to do with us? We're trying to negotiate a peace treaty with Iran. Well, yeah, but you know what? We're also in a proxy war with Iran. That's what our troops are doing in Syria. And why are we fighting Syria anyway? Syria is the flank of the Iranian aligned forces against Israel. And, Israel does not want to have that flank up there on their, left side as they're facing Iran. They don't have to be hit, but also they don't want to be hit in the back from Gaza by Hezbollah. And so the thing is that the forces that are aligning might surprise you, because it's no longer Israel against Arab, Muslim. It's more like Israel is actually lining up with the Sunni Muslim world and making peace with many of the Sunni nations. And the Sunni nations are getting more and more concerned about Iran. Why? Because of Iranian nuclear program. Because there are other proxy wars against Iran too, as in Saudi Arabia is in a strong proxy war against Iran. The Houthi rebels in Yemen have been attacking Saudi Arabia and vice versa. Saudi Arabia has been attacking them, and Iran is directly supporting the Houthi rebels. And so that is really festering. And it looks like Saudi Arabia may indeed wind up making peace enough with Israel to allow the Israeli forces to station their planes, or at least land their planes, somewhere in Saudi Arabia to stage their attacks on Iran. That's what some people are thinking. Yeah, wow. We'd always assume we'd have to have U.S. support. The U.S. would be coming in with tankers and all these things, because see, the Israeli jets just don't quite have enough reach to hit targets in Iran and make it home. And what's going to happen is, when Israel struck the Baghdad nuclear facilities, Saddam Hussein did have a nuclear facility, and the Israelis took it out so that he wouldn't be building bombs. But Saddam Hussein did not strike back. So that, and maybe he didn't have the capacity, but Iran is a whole different matter. They may strike back. Just to think that they're going to lay down and take that, they're already hitting back at each other. And that would be an overt, really over the top attack that would probably merit escalation. But what's been happening? If we go back to last summer, there were all kind of bombings going on all over Iran, within Tehran, for example, major facilities, oil production facilities, missile production facilities, nuclear facilities, medical facilities, many industrial facilities were hit, bombed throughout the summer. And it proved an ineptitude on the part of the regime there in Iran in controlling their own country. And a lot of these must have had the help of many insiders within Iran, because there's a lot of people in Iran who are not happy with the regime that's ruling them. There's a lot of them who really don't like the idea that they're developing nuclear weapons and bringing the whole world arrayed against them, and they would rather live a more Western lifestyle anyway. This is not about Iranian people. This is not about Israeli people per se. It's about the regimes that are pitted against each other and what they want to do and their objectives. People are people. I'm going to tell you, there's I've had some really good friends. My main study buddy in college was a Persian from Iran. And the odd thing is that Iran And Israel really should be best of pals, because if you read the Old Testament, it was the Persians that liberated the Hebrew people from the Babylonians, from, Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. And but that should have came a lot of good cultural heritage there, but no, we don't live in a different age. And today they're actually the most bitter enemies, it seems, mainly because of this nuclear program and the ambitions of Iran. But to think that we won't get drawn into it is naive, because Russia and China are both supporting the Iranian side. Russia is in Syria to make sure we don't knock out the Syrian regime. Russia has a naval base there. Their only Mediterranean naval base is there in Syria. So they're dedicated to maintaining that. They don't want to see Assad fall. Yeah, we've been trying to take him out. We're still there. And furthermore, what we've been doing in Afghanistan can be seen in this light. Israel is also hitting Syria. So we're kind of still on the same side, doing the same kind of things. I'm not saying that's what we should be doing at all. I think we need to be pulling out. Why are we there? But we're there. Now, there's another reason, though. We made something of a drug deal with the Saudis a long time ago, and says, hey, if you will only accept money, payment for your petroleum in dollars, then we will protect you. And they did, and it made the United States dollar the world reserve currency. And that's the only reason we haven't had Weimar inflation, dozens of years ago, especially of the last, decade. It's because there's been so many dollars out there in the world. I think we're pushing the elasticity in that system. I think we're reaching that breaking point anyway now. But we had made that deal with Saudi Arabia. Now we were exporting oil for a while, so maybe we wouldn't care as much as we did then. But we do have deals and relationships with Saudi Arabia also. So if Saudi Arabia got into this, then that just ups the ante even more. So both Israel, Saudi Arabia are forces that are aligned against Syria because they're, well, for whatever reason. Objectively, it's because, the Saudi regime is so bad. But, the Assad regime actually had a very vibrant Christian community there. It was attacked by people that we were supporting. Interesting. The people we support and what they do and who they attack. And, so why, the whole thing is a ball of spaghetti, and we shouldn't be involved in, my humble opinion, but we're there. And that's why a war between Israel and Iran may well draw us in. Or Iran, if they conceive that we have supported that attack, they may decide to do something, especially if they think the regime is at stake. They may go after our power grid. They've claimed that they have sleeper cells in America that would take out and have targeted 20 of our key power stations here and substations, 9 of which is also required, if you pick the right ones, to take down our entire grid and cause major catastrophic damage in the United States. It would cripple our economy. It would cripple our country. And if they destroy these transformers, which they're quite aware of, it takes so long to replace them that we could see indeed the demise of 9 out of 10 people in our population, according to our Congressional EMP task force. Now, all that said, that's why this is important. That's why this matters. That's why we've got to pay attention to what happens in this burgeoning conflict, because now Iran and Israel are striking directly against each other, ships and other facilities, and it's becoming more obvious. They're beginning to admit it. So the covert nature of this is beginning to wear off. So we have a stake in this, whether we want it or not. I would like to see us pull out of it, frankly. And, but, I think Israel can kind of take care of themselves, maybe. Iran. I feel for the people in both places, not so much the regimes, but the people. There's good people everywhere in the world. In every village of every race, color, creed, and everything else, you're going to find good people. But what's happening here is that, hang on, guys. Did I disable this phone? It'll take a minute. Oh, it's not going to disable readily. Oh well. Pardon me. I usually do that. So let's go through some articles here real fast. I'm going to show you some background on this. I'm going to share screen. We're going to talk about this. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to it. Bang the notification bell and click all. This is part of my eyes wide open and head on a swivel news. I haven't brought this to you in a while because I've been dealing with some things. You know, I had an auto accident. I got rear-ended and knocked into a light pole. And I've been trying to get my worm business restarted. I built a website, and frankly, my hands have been full, and I've just had a lot of stuff to deal with. So it's been tough for me to bring you this content, but I am going to try to get it back online and bring it to you as much as I can, because this world is going nuts and you need to know about it. So this is all about keeping your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. And in that regard, also I have something to help you guys. I have a special deal. If you go to prepwithgreg.com, you get you can get $200 off a 3-month supply of food. Isn't that a great deal? You can get a 3-month supply. And see, 2 of these makes for a month. That is an awesome deal. $200, 200 smackaronis. And this food lasts 25 years. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 2,000 calories a day. That'll make you a winner and keep the hunger away. So check it out, guys. It's real food. It's lightweight because it has been freeze dried. But this is real stuff. It is good, yummy food. And we'll keep in. It's easy to store and easy to carry in these nice buckets, which can be used for other things after you consume the food. You can find a lot of imagination how to use. You can throw them in a canoe, buckets like that. You can throw them in your vehicle. Your kids can carry them if you had to bug out. They're also good for storage for bugging in. Also, so go to prepwithgreg.com for that special. Prepwithgreg.com, $200 off for that, or $50 off for a much shorter 2-week supply. No, 4-week supply, excuse me. For 4-week supply, you get $50 off, but the real deal is for the 3-month supply. Hey, that's awesome. Check it out. And also, you can click on the My Patriot Supply logo, and you can find all kind of prepping supplies. And where the world's going, you might need them. Okay, let's go back to this. Yeah, the power grid is the biggest thing I worry about in a conflict like this here in the United States. But there's other things we can get dragged into our economy. It could wreck our economy. It could escalate because of the involvements of China and Russia. Russia's building nuclear power plants in Iran. And furthermore, and most of all, China is really dependent on Iranian oil. And we've got a lot of problems, you know, tensions with China already. So, and besides, if we get distracted here, that might be their excuse. They may see that as their opportunity to pounce on Taiwan, maybe even the Philippines and Japan, those islands there that they're trying to take, that it could cause us to invoke our treaty obligations with Japan and the Philippines. So this could escalate. It could really escalate. And it's something entirely different. We don't know how this could spin out, but there's just too much tension in the world. So let me show these articles, guys. All right, here we go. Bing. And see, this article says, Iran and Israel entered into direct conflict. And this is in Escart I can't pronounce that. Pardon my tongue here. A little beyond my linguistic tongue here. And so they're talking about here how this article is, you know, saying that millions of Iranians are held hostage by the Shiite regime, as they call it here. And what they get into here is talking about, of course, they're talking about Israel's not officially accepted responsibility for the attack against Natan's nuclear facility there. But of course, Tehran, they know who was behind that. And then they talk in here, they go on further to talk about the proxy wars and how Israel's Helios Ray merchant ship was attacked by Iran February the 26th of last year. And actually, what happened then is Iran got hit with their Savez ship. You know, the Israelis attacked this one in the Red Sea, and I'll show you some on that here in another article. And of course, they cut the power too, and have caused explosions in the Natanz nuclear facility. There's also been quite a bit of other activity going on, including the taking out of the head of the Iranian nuclear program, Fakhrizadeh. If you might remember, the Israelis took out Fakhrizadeh last year, and quite a few others. There's a whole article about some of that activity. I'm going to show you here again in a second. And this is again talking about Iranian military vows response to attack on their ship in the Red Sea. And this is the ship that was attacked, the Savez, however that's pronounced. I won't see all the stuff in here, so I'm going to just flow through these articles real fast. I'm not going to try to read them to you. I'm just going to show you what they're about. Attack on Iran's Natanz plant muddies U.S.-Iran nuke talks. Well, no kidding. And Saudi Arabia says it's concerned about Iranian or uranium enrichment. Well, yeah, considering that Saudi Arabia and Iran have been having quite a hot proxy war. It's included attacks on Iranian refineries. Yeah, Iran and Saudi Arabia are enemies. And that's how Saudi Arabia and Israel may wind up being frenemies. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend, my ally. And this is not news here. Interesting artwork. Yeah, so I am not going to go through and read all these articles, my friend. I'm just going to fly through them real fast just to show you. This is just a smattering, a sample in Jerusalem Post of what's going on. Oh, it looks like I lost the article I was in, and I went to the top. No, here it is. I thought it told me the top. Iranian official admits Israel swiped nuclear archive. Interesting. Netanyahu was claiming that, in a presentation some months back, that they had, in fact, their intelligence guys had swiped archives from Iran that showed that it was their full intent to produce weapons of mass destruction, contrary to what they claimed was their peaceful program. Of course, as we know, they're stepping up their enrichment uranium to 60%, a little bit beyond what you need for peaceful purposes, right? So there's a whole lot of juxtapositioning going on there. And the tit for tat, the Iranian media celebrates an explosion in a sensitive Israeli missile factory. So maybe they have hit back. They were certainly happy about it, at the very least. So, yeah, I'm just taking you through a lot of these things going on. Iranian military leader threatens Israel following missile strike from Syria. So, and then Iran seeks production of weapons of mass destruction, according to a German intelligence agency. Okay, and then why is Israel going crazy on Iran? See, there's a whole lot of that kind of activity going on where we're taking out people. So there you go, taking out people, taking out facilities, bombing, hitting ships. It's going back and forth. So I'm going to stop these shares. There's nothing to say on that. There it is. It's going on. It's happening. And it's heating up. And if as Iran continues their enrichment and it gets more, Israel don't care whether we reach a deal. In fact, Israel has said that if we reach a deal with Iran, then they'll strike. And if they don't, Saudi Arabia may want to. But definitely Saudi Arabia would prefer Israel do it. But maybe they'll work together on this. Saudi Arabia has the same kind of concerns. Egypt is concerned about this. This could cause a nuclear arms race in the entire Middle Eastern region. But we know that it's, it's unofficial, but we know that Israel is so armed already. And there are some allegations that Iran may have a couple already. But whether they do or they don't, they're certainly getting much, much closer real fast. So what's going to happen here? I don't know. We would hope that maybe the regime in power just crumbles and the people in the countries will take over their respective governments and seek a real peace without all this stuff. Well, things aren't heading in that direction yet, but it could. It could. So let's pray for a turnaround and all these things. But right now it looks ominous. It doesn't look good. It's building up real fast. That's why you need to be ready. That's why you need to be prepared. No matter how bad it is, never panic. Keep your head on your shoulders. And as you keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel, so you know what's coming at you. But that's where you think. You don't think when you're panicked. You do stupid things. Get ready. Prepare yourself in every way you can right now. Buy food, the means to produce food. Learn how to forage. I've got videos on that on my channel, how to forage in the wild. But you know, you may not be getting the calories, the protein you need. So that's why you need to grow your own food as much as you can. Store food, because growing food, you're going to have a lot of trial and error in that. You may not be able to produce enough food for your entire family initially as you climb that learning curve. Buy bulk food as much as you can. You know, rice, beans, macaroni. But you know, and I would say buy the long-term storage stuff as much as you can there too. These things are all good. They'll all help you. And of course, you know, you might need a few freedom seeds. Just take care of yourselves. Take care of your family everywhere you can. You know, I'm forming this tribe network. If you want to join that, go to info@freedomrestorationfoundation.org and send us an email and put tribe in the subject line. Survival tribes, communities, for resiliency. And then we got the Freedom Restoration Foundation. Check these out. Grow your own gardens. Learn how to grow it without having to go to the store to buy stuff. One good way to do that is worms. I sell those too at greengraves.com. I'm just getting started back into that, guys. And I had to stand down for a year from that. And I'm having some growing pains getting things readjusted. I'm having a new crew and equipment problems, but we're overcoming that. We should be running good here, hopefully this weekend. Anyway, guys, of course, I've been limping around. Don't help that I've been on crutches here for the past few weeks. Lots coming at us. So just be prepared to take care of yourself and your family in whatever way you can. Your friends, build good networks and allegiances. And, you know, if you're in a city, get out. City is not going to be a place to be. We have a lot of tension coming at us domestically, internationally, economically. Yeah, we're in for a roller coaster. We're in for some interesting times. So always keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. And so I know you watch it this long, so great. I will do that. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching.